Everybody, I'm going to let the kitty say hi first because he wants to get put down and look out the window. So there you go. I had to wait till he had his terror runs. He did his 30 minutes of running around the tent. He's got a little path. He goes all the way around the edge, jumps up on top of stuff, knocks stuff over. That's what kitties do. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with my beard. I know I'm going to keep the mustache, but I don't know. I like the goatee too, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So I haven't shaved. I'm hopefully going to decide this week what I want to do. So, my channel is called The End Times. It's all about time, isn't it? Are we at the end yet? Clock's still ticking and we're still here. It appears on the surface that things have slowed down. Don't put your guard down. I'm filming this in the afternoon now instead of in the morning. Since the time change, it gets light real early, and the sun being behind me, I can't film. It's too bright. This is too tall. Let me bring that down a little bit. There we go. Because the sun being behind me, now I got a shadow on me. That's the monitor, that's why I had it up. I've got these dimensions all marked on here with tape and everything, so if I don't do it right, or no, I see what it is. I made the bottom one is not in the exact right spot. Alright, so time is important to God. We have a timeline. You hear all those geese? I just realized I didn't have my microphone plugged in. They can get quite noisy out there. Geese and ducks are also quite messy. They make you have to watch your step. All right. They're fun to watch and pretty to watch, but if you had them as pets, they'd be making a mess everywhere. Okay, so we're going to look about time, and the one way to know for sure that you're in charge of time is to have a prophet. Because a prophet can tell you the future. And if they can't tell you the future because they don't know it or you don't know it, you're not God, right? So that's one of the reasons we have prophets, to prove to people that God is who he says he is. And the one that was quoted specifically by Jesus was Daniel. So we're going to look at him. We've heard a lot from him anyway. A lot of what he said is reiterated in the New Testament, especially in Revelation. But turn with me to Matthew 24:15. When therefore you see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, let him that readeth understand. So this was out of my red letter edition, so that's Jesus talking. When you see the abomination of desolation, which is spoken of through Daniel. Okay, well, we're going to go back and look at that in a little bit. The abomination of desolation is the desecration of the temple. In order to do that, there has to be a temple. The temple, prior to Jesus being here, and of course this is Jesus talking, so he's not talking about what happened before, and it was only like 40 years until it's destroyed, and it wasn't desecrated in that time. It was destroyed. I guess you can call that desecration, but that's not what this means. So he was talking into the future. So turn with me to Daniel 9:27. Now, we're going to understand the times because we've studied this before. And he shall make a firm covenant for many for 1 week. Whenever we're reading weeks in this venue, at this point, they're heptats, so it's film covenant for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. So this is the final week of Daniel. And in the midst of it, the middle, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. There has to be sacrifices going on for them to be ceased. So they will have a temple in the middle of the 70th week. And upon the wing of abomination shall come one that makes desolate. It's another way of saying the same thing. And even until the full end, and that determined, shall wrath be poured out upon the desolate. 7 years divided by 2 is 12,060. Kitty, what are you doing? I have, okay, once again we're being interrupted by the kitty. I like them here, but I have daddy longlegs all over the top of this tent. It's dry, it's getting cool, so my heaters are warm. My back is freezing right now because it's cold out there, but he sees those now. They've come in and are in abundance, and he's trying to get to them. I'm afraid that he's going to rip a hole in the side of the tent. I'm going to have to do what I can to discourage him or get rid of the spiders. I actually like the spiders because the daddy longlegs eat other critters that I don't want around. Stop. Okay, I got to find my... There it is. Some people use squirt guns. I use compressed air. You don't like it. All right, so 1,260 days for a 360-day year. That's a Hebrew year. Daniel's writing to the Hebrews. Jesus is talking to the Hebrews, so all of our terms, we use 365, and ours is solar, theirs is on the moon, so it's 360. We have a leap year, they have a leap month. So we all get there at the same time, but it's okay. Nope. No running crazies. So we're going to jump down to Daniel 12:4. Gabriel is talking to Daniel. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. And for the most part, the Bible was written to the slave laborers, to the workers, to the average man, if you will. It was not written for the rich, the aristocrats, or any of that. Come on. Kitty, I thought you were tired. Settle down. So, where we are today, 3,000 years ago, Jonah was thrown overboard when their little bitty ship was going to sink because of a storm. That was how they got around. They walked, they had horses, chariots, but the average person didn't. They walked everywhere. Jesus and the disciples walked over much of, I guess you'd call it what's now Turkey, but that's where the churches were at. Kitty. He's getting these terrors. See, he's doing it again. He has to do it. He can run away just as well as he can run around and cause trouble. Okay, so 3,000 years ago, Jonah was thrown overboard. 2,000 years ago, Paul, on his final trip, insists on going to Rome because they're giving him a bad time. And he says, I'm a Roman citizen, you can't do this. So they put him on a boat to take him to Rome, and the boat crashes. It's a small boat. Again, the fishermen, where Jesus found his disciples, were on fishing boats, small boats, maybe bigger than a aluminum boat we might go fishing in today, because those were commercial fishermen. And they didn't have motors like our fishermen today do. They would have used nets and they would have had oars. That's how they got around. That's 2,000 years ago. 500 years ago, these are average, or rounded up or down, Columbus sailed to the Americas. He was trying to find a trade route. He wasn't looking for America. His crew thought the edge of the world was there and they were going to fall off. Kitty, be nice. Come up here and say hello. Okay. You got what you want? You're on camera. Everybody can see you. Now be nice. So that's 500 years ago. About 250 years ago, they invented the steam engine. So the first, it's like the movie, trains, planes, and automobiles. Well, we got the trains first. And they went maybe 30 to 50 miles an hour on an average, depending on whether they're pulling or not. Planes were just invented, the early 1900s. And now we've got rockets that have been to the moon. We're getting ready to go back again. People are going to and fro. Millions of miles are traveled every year. Some by car, mostly by plane. People are going to and fro. They had no idea back then what that meant. And talking about rockets, they just launched the 6th test flight of Starship. This Starship rocket is bigger than the Saturn V. And about 4 times as much thrust, I think. 7.5 million in their, well, that's got to be more than that. There's 33 Raptor engines that have, it's got to be like 30 million. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's a lot. This is what we're doing now. So I think we're traveling to and fro. Now, knowledge. Knowledge is increasing. It has to be significant for the Bible to talk about it. So according to current estimates, I'm reading a little paragraph that I pulled off the internet talking about the internet. If you want to know how much space is on the internet, ask the internet. Internet contains an immense amount of energy reaching into hundreds of zettabytes, with the quantity constantly growing as new data is added. A zettabyte is roughly equivalent to 1 trillion gigabytes. That's a lot of zeros. It's a number we can't even understand when the government's spending billions of dollars, or up to trillions of dollars. This is 1 trillion gigabytes. That's how much data is available to you today on the internet. Some good, too much of it bad. But I think we've reached the knowledge point. So we are at that point. So turn now to Daniel 12:9. Gabriel still talking. Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are shut up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall purify themselves and make themselves white and be refined, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. Are you watching these people after the election? They don't understand. They didn't understand before, and they still don't understand. But they that are wise shall understand. Don't be surprised by what you see. And from the time of the continual burnt offering shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate is set up, there shall be 1,290 days. That's the ending half. It's longer. 1,260 is half a year. There's 30 more days on there. Some of these things can be confusing until the end. Is this when Jesus comes back? I'm going to read the summary of one of the preachers that I follow at the end. We really don't know. We know that those dates are in here, and we're not going to be able to figure it out because it doesn't tell us what these reasons are. Just know that the dates are different, so when we get there and look back, we can go, oh, you did know what you were doing, God. Blessed is he, continuing on in verse 12, he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. 1,335 days. Now that's different again. We're not going to know until the end. I mean, we might know immediately when we get to heaven. I don't know how this data dump goes into our heads if we just automatically have connection to it and all of our questions are answered. I don't know. I'd rather sit down on a rock on a nice view of a lake and have Jesus tell me about it, but I'll take an immediate update if that's how he wants to do it. Okay, so these are the bullet points that I pulled off of. I'm not going to mention the name. I am telling you that I'm not writing this, but I kind of agree with it, so it's easier to just do that. Sometime after the rapture of the church, the Antichrist enters the treaty with Israel. We're in agreement on this. This begins the 7-year tribulation. At the midpoint of the tribulation, 1,260 days later, the Antichrist breaks the treaty and desecrates the temple. It might be some AI involved, we don't know. And begins to persecute the Jews. That's when they're told to flee. Don't look back, get out of here. At the end of the tribulation, 1,260 days after the desolation of the temple, Jesus Christ returns to earth and defeats the forces of the Antichrist. During the next, now this is the speculation part, during the next 30 days leading up to the 1,290 days after the desecration of the temple, Israel is rebuilt and the earth is restored. It's a possibility. We'll find out when we get there. During the next, because there was 75 days to the larger number, 1,335. During the next 45 days leading up to the 1,335 days after the desecration of the temple, the Gentile nations are judged for their treatment of Israel. They have the white throne judgment. It could be that. It could take about that amount of time. The dispensation of the millennium begins and it will last for 1,000 years. So there's our rough timeline. So there is a reason for the difference. It's not typos. They didn't make a mistake. This is coming from one writer. Surely he knew when he was writing this that the numbers didn't match, but there's a reason for it. But it said, shut it up. We're not supposed to know. So we just have to have faith in God. Trust him that we're going to get there. It's nice watching the sun go down. The sun is not behind me, though. The sun is off at an angle like that. I'm going to be moving my tent in about a month, I think, maybe less, to another location. as the park starts to empty out, I'm going to get to another spot because they're going to come through here at some point during the winter and burn all the dead grass, because this grass will die over the next month or two. And so I can't be over here on this side. I'm going to move to the other side of the street where they won't burn, because it backs up to the forest and I don't want to do that. So I'll be over there. Pretty soon I'm going to be the only one on this point out here to keep an eye on it. And if I stay through the winter, God willing, we'll be out of here before that. But if not, I'm looking for a house. We have to continue with our lives even though I don't believe we're going to be here that long. But we don't know. Time is relative. There's a difference between 3.5 years, 3.5 years plus 30 days, plus 75 days. We're not going to necessarily get these calculations right. And a lot of our calculations are based on assumptions of the way things are and the way things were back then. We could still be wrong. All right, Kitty's calmed down finally. Hello. But he just walked across the base of the camera stand. My back is cold, so I'm going to go ahead and close this window up, let my heaters work. There's a heater right down here at my feet, keeping my feet warm, but the rest of me is cold. I'm fine. I like this. And I turn the heaters off at night. I only keep them, I turn them on in the morning, get the chill out of the air, make sure that Kitty's okay. I have a sleeping bag. That's a 30-degree bag. On top of that, I have an electric blanket and a comforter. I can go down to 0. So I'm fine. And I can layer up. I've got clothes I can layer up and crawl into bed with if I needed to. And my hunting jacket, my green one that you saw me in the car with. Come on, Kitty. You want to come up here and say hi again? He gets cold. But he just curls up. I try to cover him up with a blanket, and he throws it off. Are you biting me? Okay, you can lick me, but you can't bite me. So, we're all just kind of hanging out. One good thing that will happen when I'm here by myself in the park, the animals will start coming back out again. There's quite a few deer in this park, and I see them on the road sometimes, and sometimes I catch them leaving the grassy area to my right, but they're leaving, and I'm the only one here. I'll be able to try to get some footage of them, see if I can get close enough for you to enjoy them too. I'm doing fine. I'm hanging in there. When do we get out of here? I don't know. But I'm happy to wait. I get to spend time with my son during the week. He should be back streaming again. I gotta go and check out his channel. I kind of follow along. I don't watch everything he does, but I add my view. It's the same thing that you guys can do here. If you don't want to watch my videos, just start them, hit like, and walk away. Now, I think you're losing out if you do that. But if you don't have time one day to do it, just start the video and walk away. I'll still get credit for it, and YouTube will see the minutes tick by. These are all things that they use to monitor what I do. I'm in a downsized mode right now. They're filtering me. And as I mentioned before, people have... put him over there. He wants to lie down. Go to sleep. I'll be right there. People have complained that they've been blocked. The people that have blocked, I have no wish to unblock. But the people that I'm not blocking, if you can figure out how to get back to me on one of my social media sites to let me know that you were blocked, I'll let you back. If YouTube blocks you, I have no control over that. The people that I'm personally blocking won't bother to give me the time of day, I don't think. So I'm not worried about them. But I am worried about people that watch this show, watch this video podcast. If you get blocked, I want you to get back. So find a way. All right. Time is short. Make the best of it. In Jesus' name. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.